Hi everyone, welcome back to Cottoverdi. My name's Annette and this is day 15 of Vlogmas. A few days ago, I made a moss ball and I decorated it with succulents and pine cones and things like that. And I think it's really pretty, so do take a look at that video if you missed it. But it reminded me that I needed to pot up some of the succulents that I've been propagating, and I thought I'd bring you along and show you how I do this and why I do it, and also how to propagate succulents, because it's so easy. And if you like succulents, I think they're really pretty. They're incredibly cute and I love the variety. So if you like succulents and you're not sure how to propagate them, then this will be the video for you. So one of the most important things to know about succulents is that they really like good drainage, and so I always make sure that I add loads of grit to the compost that I'm using. I would say 50-50 is not a bad combination. It's not precise, I don't actually measure it out, I just make sure that there's a lot of grit. And there was already grit in this compost because I used it a few days ago for doing some other potting on, but I added more, even more grit. It is possible to buy compost for succulents and cacti, but I'm just using ordinary peat-free compost and mixing it with grit. I've got these very cute little outdoor pots, and this is what I'm going to use. The root systems on succulents and cacti really aren't very deep, and I've only got very small plants, so these are perfect for me. I always leave a little bit of extra room so that I can put some grit on the top. It's possible to find crushed shells, and that's something else that looks really pretty, but I just have grit, I don't have any of that. It's quite handy to have a stick or something to make a hole. So these are the succulents I've been propagating. These are little bits that broke off when I was making my moss ball, but these are all, you know, rooted in nicely, and I'm going to move these and then propagate the little bits that are broken off. So all I need to do is sort of lever these out. So I'm going to dig around in this compost here, and I'm going to try to make sure the roots are attached. Now they don't have to be attached, but it is helpful if they are. So I'm just going to make a little hole and put the root in, and I'm not pushing it all the way down because I'm going to use some gravel just to decorate the top. It stops the soil splashing up on the succulent, and I also think it just looks really pretty that way. And I'm going to do this one exactly the same way. I'm going to shake off the weedy compost. The reason there's weeds on these is because I've been propagating them outside all summer. And then I'm going to put these back into my little zippy greenhouses, and they'll stay there through the winter. Not necessarily because they need to be warm, although I wouldn't want them to be sitting out in the snow, but mostly because if they get too wet, then they're really just not going to like it and they'll rot. So I like to keep them drier, and in fact I won't water them. So there are two little baby ones here, but I don't want to plant those in this pot, so I'm just going to break them off, and you can either break them off or you can cut them off with a knife or snips. In fact, snips would work. Since I haven't got a knife handy, I'm just going to snip them off against the stem here, and then these, oh, fell in the hole. These can also be propagated. They both fell in the hole, I can't believe that. Get out. Okay. Let's put some more soil in there. So I'm making a nice big hole for the roots, and then I'm just going to put this all the way in here. So if I happen to knock off any leaves whilst I'm doing this, I don't panic about that because I'll just use them to propagate from to make more plants. With these little ones that are like, I think they're called house leeks, I like to take off, they always end up with this sort of dead stuff around the stem, and I like to take that off. I may use my snips to just sort of scrape it off. It's not essential. So propagating succulents could not be easier. Basically take exactly the same compost that I was using to pot it on in, so very gritty, and I put about maybe an inch in there, and then all we have to do is just lay little leaves, so just break a leaf off and just lay it on top. Once it's calloused over, you could push it into the soil, so in a day or two if you want to, but I've never found it necessary to push it into the soil. Just sort of lay it on top like that, and it really is as simple as that. And then these will form tiny little plants at the base. I think that's absolutely, it's incredible how they grow. I love it. Now I don't know what any of these are called. I just, you know, plant them willy-nilly. Some are red, some are green. I'm planting them all in the same direction because it makes me happy. It's not necessary. So this one's got too long a stem, so I don't want to plant it into a pot, but what I'll do is I'll chop it off like that so it's got a little stem, and then I'll just poke it into the gritty compost here like this and grow it on. And these will root and form nice new plants. So I'm just cutting it so that it's got a short stem. So this is one that's growing 2 shoots, so I want to keep that and carry on growing that one. So if they're just too tiny, I just move them on. It's not strictly necessary, but this one here has got, I mean, it's just got a lot of weeds, so I don't want to keep it anymore. So because it's really cold at the moment and the compost is definitely damp, I'm not going to water these succulents in at all. They will be absolutely fine. In fact, if I watered them, they would definitely rot. So I'm just going to put them back into the little mini greenhouses, and they will be fine there throughout the winter. I will check on them occasionally, but they really don't need much help at all. I really hope you've enjoyed watching me potting on my succulents today. They're really cute and I love them in those little pots. In fact, they'd make really good gifts, I think. So I may be handing some out to friends and family. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.